You want.
I know.
Oh, John's pointing. It must be time to start. We're up here just singing and having a little good old time, but we're glad you're here. Really glad you're here. And with those of you joining us online, we're really glad you're here today too. So my question as we get started is, how much joy can you possibly demonstrate right now? Prove it. Let's stand and celebrate.
Good morning, Vision. How are you? Oh, so good to see you all. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being online. Our Vision community just keeps growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger. And you know, you look around and you're like, yeah, but where is everybody? Well, they're there. Good morning. I'm so glad you're there. Breathe this in. This is the joy of God right here, right now, within ourselves and with everyone else. So before we think another thought, as Bruce Doyle would say, before we think another thought, let's pray in. Giving great thanks for this day, knowing and accepting it is God. It is all God, all the time, that there is one life, it is spirits. And it just comes complete in its fullness wherever it shows up, and it shows up everywhere. There is no place in the cosmos, on earth, anywhere in the universe absent of God, because the universe itself is the body of God. We know this, and now it's our opportunity to feel it and to live from that truth, that there is one. We are connected. We are all connected at source. There is one life. It is God's. It is our life right here and right now. It is whole, perfect, and complete. It flows in its entirety to us, through us. We embody it and we demonstrate it to the point where we recognize who we are in spirit. We demonstrate that, and we allow it to flow through us and as us in the world, changing the conditions around us. I give great thanks for this entire life, for the love that points the way, for the law that makes the way possible, and for the change which is inevitable in our lives. We know it is all God, and so it is. Good morning. You're just looking fabulous. So, first week of October, you feeling a little autumn feeling in the air? It's like a little cooler at night. I love it. I love it where I am. Of course, it's usually like 104 in Santee. So now it's like almost normal. I love it. It gets cool at night. That's what I love about living in these desert climate, where like in Florida, it just gets dark, but it never gets cool, Here, it gets sunsets, it gets cool. You get that chill. It's sweater weather, isn't it? Love it. Anyway, I'm getting all off track. I am here to tell you about practitioners. They're here to serve you. Paul is a practitioner right here, and he's got that prayer request box. You have prayer request forms in the bulletin over there on the prayer table. If you've come with anything on your heart, please, please, please fill it out. Put it in the prayer box. And if you put your phone number on, a practitioner will call you at home, pray with you over the phone, or leave a prayer on your voicemail so you can listen to it over and over. It's a wonderful way to change, right? That set point. We talk about that a lot. Affirmations are to change our minds about what's possible. And so prayer, listening to that prayer over and over again, does the same thing because of that realization step in affirmative prayer. It also changes our minds. It absolutely reminds us of possibilities. So if you have come with anything on your heart today, even if you haven't, the prayer could always be, I love my life more, please. There's nothing wrong with that prayer. I love that one, right? What was it Meister Eckhart said? If you only say thank you, if your prayer is only gratitude, that is enough, right? So you can just absolutely request thank you. So do that. We also, for our online community, have the meet and greet room after celebration. There will be practitioners there. You can move into a breakout room and have private one-on-one prayer there as well. After our celebration today, you can meet with a practitioner. We have them right here in the room. Practitioners, raise your hands. Who are you? Be seen. Look at that, okay? We have practitioners all over. So you can meet with a practitioner at the end of celebration and have one-on-one prayer as well. What we know is what? It's on there. Prayer changes things. Right. Prayer changes things because it changes us. So do that. Avail yourself of that. And what else can I tell you about us? I know. I'm going to say the greeting, and you're going to say it with me. This is the greeting we have, and it comes on our welcome packets. Grab one of these on your way out if you haven't gotten one on the way in. Give it to a friend. Let them know about Vision. Let them know that we're meeting in person now safely, right? Masks and whatever. And invite them in to change their lives as well, because everybody can use a little change, right? A little spiffing up. There's a welcome on this. Let's say it together. Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here. You are safe and you are loved. So just allow that to resonate within you. Know it as truth. And now I'm going to turn it over now to our celebration singers. We have our new October celebration singers. I love it. James, Marianne, and Andy. Thank you so much for saying yes to entertaining us and singing with us. I'm going to turn it over to them. They're going to do our centering song to prepare us for meditation. Thank you.
And as we move into our time of meditation and prayer, this centering time is that time where we remind ourselves again why we expect to find fulfillment when we go to prayer. to handle anything that comes my way. God is able, more than able, to do much more than I could ever dream. God is able, more than able, to be my life abundant and free. God is able, more than able, to accomplish what concerns me today. God is able, more than able, to handle anything that comes my way. God is able, more than able, to do much more than I could ever dream. God is able, more than able, to be my life abundant and free.
Good morning. My name is Paul Hemmerling. I'm one of the licensed practitioners here at Vision, and now's our time for meditation and contemplation. We'll have some quotes, the bowl will ring, we'll enter a period of silence. TK will keep track of the time for us and chime us out of the silence, and we'll move directly into our time of community prayer. I invite you to get comfortable where you are and take these quotes with you into the silence. Always go too far, because that's where you'll find the truth. Albert Camus. And from our founder, Ernest Holmes. There is, of course, a much deeper seat of knowledge than the subjective mind, which is spirit. Direct contact with spirit is illumination. staying grounded in that silence, in that infinite possibility. I breathe the oneness of spirit, the truth. There is one life, one energy, one experience. It is holy, it is sacred, it is divine, it is love, it is beauty, it is freedom and abundance, it is everywhere. I know the entire manifest three-dimensional universe is an expression of the mind of God in action, in movement, in experience, out and out and out to the farthest reaches of the visible universe. Photons of light streaming away, nebulous gases, closer and closer through the known solar system, the atmosphere, the clouds, the trees, the water, the birds, the fish, the ground beneath our feet, through our skin, our blood, our bones, the muscle tissues, down and down and down, the atomic structures below the cellular, the subatomic, down and down, as small as we can perceive, and out as grand as we could perceive. There is one energy, one unified field of self-aware consciousness. It is spirit. It is everywhere. It knows only of itself. It is love. There is no edge. There is no out there. There is no barrier. There is no null space. There is only one field of unified self-aware truth. And into that truth, into that oneness, into that unified field, I know that I am one as we are one. We are one being, one mind, one love, one experience of the infinite power and presence of spirit, which denies itself nothing, loves itself, trusts itself, expresses itself through this life. And so I know right here and right now that the power and presence of spirit shows up as joy, as love, as unity in each and every one of our relationships, as an expanding circle of friendship, as an expression of romantic love, of healing of relationships, of harmony between people, of an I am that greets the other, and the deep calls unto deep, and we are one in harmony. So know that spirit is right here and right now expressing itself as love and joy and a greater circle of life. And as I know this is the truth of spirit, I know this is the truth of our finances right here and right now. There is no money in spirit. There is no economy in God. There is only activity. There is only freedom and joy and love and abundance and the effortless expression of being. And so I know right here and right now that all that needs to be handled is handled by spirit. That what needs to be done is done. As I know that the oak tree is already guaranteed in the acorn, I know that our fulfillment is guaranteed by our desire to be in integrity with our finances. Money flows effortlessly and easily through our experience, paying all bills in full and on time with plenty left over. It fixes cars, it provides new clothing, new appliances, a new roof, a new home. Spirit is the effortless expression of life and of joy as directed. And as I know this is the truth of spirit, I know that health is our birthright. I know that spirit is right here, the physician that dwells within, the blueprint of perfection in each and every cell, working together, aligning these bodies with perfection. I turn this thought over to that wisdom that dwells within, and I know what to do in all areas of life. And so opening up to all that is available, the joyful expression of spirit on all levels. I give great thanks. I give great thanks for this opportunity to prove this principle, to speak this word. I give thanks for this day, for this building, for this volunteers, for the amazing musicians, and all that it took to bring this together, technology, our online community, growing and expanding. I give great thanks for Reverend Patti as the perfect vessel of Spirit's message today. And knowing right here and right now that this word goes out and reflects back fulfilled, that Spirit only says yes to health, says yes to financial well-being, says yes to harmony in all of our relationships, The good, the good, the good of life flows. God is love, and so it is.
Our guest today is a consummate musician who plays and writes and sings beautifully, but the other thing that he has done for many, many years is he is a producer. He is an organized individual who handles business, and that's a very rare person indeed. So please welcome Joe Rathburn.
You say this old world has got you down, nothing but trouble all around. All you do is wear a frown everywhere you go. You say you can't even watch the news, not a single thing there you can use. You just get a big old case of blues. Here's all the news you need to know. Give nothing but love today. Give love and throw the rest away. In everything you do and say, give nothing but love. Give love and make somebody smile. Give them strength to walk another mile. And you'll feel better all the while. Give nothing but love. You see, the world's made of many parts, a lot of souls and a lot of hearts. Love is where the whole thing starts. I think you must agree. Love's the language that we all can speak. It's the food that keeps us at our peak. So when a body starts to feeling weak, we need it fast and free. Give nothing but love today. Give love and throw the rest away. In everything you do and say, give nothing but love. Give love and make somebody smile. Give them strength to walk another mile. And you'll feel better all the while. Give nothing but love. Faced with divides, we tend to take sides. We're human, that's just understood. Ah, but love is the source, so rather than force, let's all get together like we should and give nothing but love today. Give love and throw the rest away. That's nice. In everything you do and say, give nothing but love. Give love and make somebody smile. Give them strength to walk another mile. And you'll feel better all the while. Give nothing but love. Love, 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 yeah. Let's hear it for the band. Patti.
We just have the best music here at Vision, don't we? Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can applaud that as well. Thank you, Joe. Wonderful. So here we are in October. Yay! I love the fall, right? The weather gets a little cooler. It's nice. You get all energized, do all kinds of fall planting and stuff. Well, I do. Anyway. October. Here we are. New theme for the month, and the theme is going further together. Don't even get me started, because I had to wrestle with that one for a long time, because I think that they meant farther, but maybe they did mean further. I don't know. Are they talking about going within or going in the distance? I'm not really sure, but that's the theme, and so we're going to go with it. Going further together. So that really means going deeper into the conversation, like furthermore, right? Furthermore. So we're just going to go with that. And so today is Take a Deep Dive. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a deep dive. Yeah? Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, we're going to take a deep dive, you know? Because we come together every week. We talk about spiritual principles every Sunday. And for a lot more than that, in the last 15 months with all those uplifts, we were coming together a lot more than just once a week, right? Well, like almost every day for a while. So we come together quite often and talk about spiritual principles. We talk about all things spiritual. And the beginning of that is God, right? I mean, this is the starting point of all spiritual paths, is God. Or spirit, or universal intelligence, or higher power, or whatever we want to call it, whatever name we want to use to describe the indescribable, which is really what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to put a name on something that is nameless. Whatever words we use, we fall short, right? So the beginning of the Tao, it says, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. But then that falls short of spirit, doesn't it? When we say spirit is all there is. That's it. So we cannot name it. We cannot describe it. We cannot, because, I wanted to let you know that was Stephen Mitchell's translation. You know, there's lots and lots of translations of the Tao. You can pick the one that you like best. That happened to be Stephen Mitchell's translation. Anyway, we cannot name it without limiting it, right? As soon as you name it, you've limited it. We cannot describe it without limiting it, because it goes beyond that. Spirit is eternal, we know that. According to Ernest Holmes, it is both immanent and transcendent. Immanent means existing or operating within, and transcendent, beyond or above the range of normal or merely physical existence. So both within and without, and extending forever, eternally. Can't really be named. It is simply existing. It is existing. And if you listen to the Hindu description, I know Dr. Deepak Chopra would say the ground of all being, right? One of the professors I had in ministerial school would call it the ground of all being. The gentleman, I can't remember his name now, I totally lost it. The one that was in the What the Bleep, right? The ground of all being, the thing that exists, the I am, right? And it can't be described or named or limited in any way, because it is more than that. As soon as we name it, as soon as we describe it, as soon as we give it attributes, we know it's more than that. We just know its isness. It is the isness of everything that there is. And Ernest Holmes said this. He said, first, I believe that God is universal spirit. And by spirit, I mean life essence of all there is. That subtle and intelligent power which permeates all things, and which, in the individual, is conscious mind. I believe that God is universal spirit, present in every place, conscious in every part. It is the intelligence and all the mind there is. That's it, right? That's it. And more than that. And more than that. Everywhere present, in everything and beyond everything. Immanent and transcendent. We find spirit within us because we are conscious beings. We find it in every cell, in every molecule, in every organ of our being, right? And it is more than that. It is in everything, it is as everything, it is between all things, and it is beyond all things. It is mind and matter, and the space between. It is all of it. It is energy. It is universal origin. The theologians called that God. Physicists call that energy. It's the same stuff. It is the unique consciousness of everything. And the descriptors are the same between the theologians and the physicists, isn't it? Can neither be created nor destroyed. Always has been, always will be. It just changes form. Physicists and the theologians are saying the same thing and giving it the same descriptions. They're just calling it by different names. And Ernest Holmes said there's universal mind, spirit, intelligence. That is the origin of everything. It is first cause. It is God. This universal life and energy finds an outlet in and through all that is energized and through everything. There's one life back of everything that lives. There is one energy back of everything that is energized. This energy is everything. That was Ernest Holmes. There is one spirit back of all expression. That is the meaning of the mystical saying of Acts 17:28. In him we live and move and have our being. That's it. There's nothing else but energy. And we are an individualized expression of that energy. We exist for a time and in a place, in a space, and then we return to source. It is everything, it is in everything, it is surrounding everything, it is being everything. You're here as an expression of God. You're representing God, right? That goes back to what Ernest Holmes said about God and company. We're the company. You know, it's really what it is. And what Ernest Holmes is describing when he describes spirit like that, he is describing the ontological viewpoint of panentheism. Panentheism. Panentheism is a particular ontological viewpoint. And there are plenty of them, right? They're all different kinds. Ontology is the study of the nature of reality. And the physicists have been discussing it, and the philosophers have been discussing it, and the doctors, and everybody's been discussing it since day one. Probably when ancient people sat around the fire, they probably talked about this stuff, don't you think? Right? What is life? Why am I here? What's it all about? Where can I get a good meal? You know, all of those kinds of questions, those eternal questions. Panentheism is what Ernest Holmes described in that quote. The idea that God is all there is and beyond that, right, is panentheism. There are four major ontologies that we discuss over and over again. And the first one is really kind of the most popular, scientific materialism. It's pretty much what we're into right now. It's the most popular one in the Western world. You know, everything's made of parts and pieces of parts. We've been believing scientific materialism for the last, I don't know, at least 400 years anyway. I think it became with a Cartesian philosophy, René Descartes and all of his, it's a clockwork universe. You can take it apart, put it back together again, it'll still work. Everything is material. Everything is parts and pieces. Everything can be described down to its smallest part and piece. Material matter is the fundamental substance of all things, including consciousness. Consciousness is a result of material interactions. Now there's the challenge, right there. The challenge with materialism is that it has never explained how the brain produces consciousness. Right? It can examine the brain, it can MRI the brain, it can take the brain apart, it can look at all its little teeny tiny pieces, but it has never explained how consciousness enters matter. Right? If we are scientific materialisms, where is the consciousness in a brain when you take it apart and you look at it? Materialism has never explained it, but scientific materialism says this, it says, someday we'll be able to explain it to you. Someday we'll be able to explain how consciousness enters the brain. And that's what we call the hard problem. That's what philosophers call the hard problem. Because they haven't ever been able to do it. They're still not able to do it. We don't know if they'll ever be able to do it. But they keep telling us they'll be able to do it someday, and that's what's called promissory materialism. Promissory, we'll get back to you, right? We can't really show you right now in black and white how consciousness enters matter, but we'll get back to you on it. Someday we'll be able to tell you. Promissory materialism. So that's one ontology. That's the one we pretty much all of us kind of relate on. This is real, this is real, this is real, right? We're into this materialism thing. We kind of know matter. We have a good handle on it. And we think it's okay. But we still can't answer that fundamental question. Another ontology is idealism. Everything is mind. That's an absolutist sort of belief. Think Emma Curtis Hopkins, right? Everything is mind. The real is the nature of thought only, right? The real is the nature of thought. And matter is a projection of mind. Think the philosopher Plato. Not Plato, Plato. I'm from New York, what can I say? So think Plato. The illusion on the wall, right? That's all we are. The illusion, matter is the illusion on the wall. Our lives are the projection of a thought. I'm Curtis Hopkins. There is no matter in spirit. Everything is thought. You know what? And that goes so far until you break your leg, right? And then all of a sudden, matter matters. Matter matters. And we have to deal with it. Ernest Holmes said, it is real as it's supposed to be. Matter is as real as it needs to be. But these vehicles that we are getting around in, they are as real as they need to be for us. We still have to deal with them. We still have to manage them. We still have to take care of them. We still have to keep them healthy and whole and happy. Right? Okay, so as far as a projection of mind, maybe everything begins in thought, absolutely. But we still have to deal with matter. And then there is dualism. And I think a lot of us have a smattering of that. We might be scientific materialists, but we do have a smattering of dualism. There's this and that, right? We try to reconcile that. I mean, Christianity is all about dualism, isn't it? God created everything, the devil's trying to take it over. There's this big fight to the finish. There's this gigantic, and in this corner, we have Satan in the red trunks, who is trying to, take over everything. And in this corner, we have Jesus who's going to let him for a while until the apocalypse, and then he's going to take everything back. Whatever. Dualism, good and evil, black and white, material and mind. Material and matter. Well, there's a big question in dualism is, again, how do they interact? If they're two different things totally separate and apart from each other, how did they ever interact? How did consciousness ever enter matter? Or how did matter ever become conscious? If they are two separate and distinct things, how'd that happen? Which brings us to the fourth ontological viewpoint, panpsychism. Mind and matter are real and inseparable. What the panpsychists say, like Dr. Christian de Quincey, who was also a professor in Holmes Institute, wonderful guy, what he had said was, consciousness goes all the way down. That's it. That mind and matter are one and the same. And that down to the smallest subatomic particle, there is consciousness there. that it goes all the way down. They are inseparable. Mind and matter are inseparable. And this is an ascending viewpoint with scientists and physicists all around the globe now. I shouldn't say it's an ascending viewpoint. It is a re-ascending viewpoint. Because, you know, years and years and years ago, that's why we call this new thought but ancient wisdom. Years and years and years ago, ancient wisdom had panpsychism as the cornerstone, didn't they? When you think of the tribal cultures, the indigenous people, they practiced animism, which is intelligence in everything. Very close to panpsychism, right? Pan meaning everything, psyche meaning mind. Mind is in everything, right? Well, animism, maybe it had a hint of dualism in it, maybe. Spirit enters matter. I don't know. Maybe a little hint of dualism, but it is very similar to the panpsychism. So there is a re-emergence of this idea that there is just universal intelligence, that with the Big Bang, with the beginning of everything, there wasn't any beginning, but with beginning, consciousness always existed. And so energy becomes matter, that consciousness is one and the same. So panpsychism is what the philosophers are thinking. Pan, like I said, pan, everything, everywhere. Psychism, psyche, mind. Mind is everything, everywhere. For the theologian, it is pantheism. God is everything. God is everywhere. Again, pan and theos, meaning God. God is everywhere. What Ernest Holmes was talking about was panentheism. God is in everything, as everything, and beyond. And beyond that. There is one mind present everywhere. There is one God present everywhere. But panentheism takes that extra step and says, yes, God is in everything, God is present everywhere, but it is not used up in its existing in everything and everywhere and goes beyond that, beyond all matter. Right? So it is everything and everywhere. Pythagoras said, consciousness sleeps in the stone, dreams in the plant, awakens in the animal, and slowly becomes aware of itself in the human. So that it means it exists in everything. That intelligence, that universal intelligence, which we call God, which the physicists call energy, I call it Bob sometimes when I'm really, really in close communion, because I just like the name. It goes back and forth, you know, it's Bob no matter how you look at it. Anyway, it's one and the same. It's one and the same. There's only this one thing. And it's making itself known in all shapes and all forms and all planets and in the space in between. And in our philosophy, in the science of mind, we tend to lean into panentheism. That's what we believe, don't we? We do, right? Yes? Raise your hand. Okay. We do, right? Okay, good. This is what we believe, that God is in everything, as everything, beyond everything. All of those qualities that we attribute to God, they exist within us. We get to express them to the extent that we align with this truth and we allow it to flow through us and as us into the world. The idea that God is all there is, but yet beyond that. God is everywhere, equally present. You know, I don't have a piece of God and there's only a little piece of God in you and a piece of God. No, God shows up in its fullness. Because if it's infinite, think about this. If there's infinite, is there a half of infinite? No. Can you cut up, infinity into like quarters and eighths and sixteenths? No. It shows up in its fullness, in everyone, in everything. In form, out of form, the spaces between the forms, and more than that. Always was, always will be, and always becoming. And see, this is the thing that we know in religious science, always becoming. This is how we jump in on this whole entire ontological viewpoint. Always becoming, and we direct that, right? For our own personal use, we are the ones who direct that. This moves a little bit into process philosophy, which is a little bit different. Alfred North Whitehead, right? He was into that whole process philosophy thing. He was talking about doing and becoming, almost like we leapfrog our lives, don't we? We do this thing and it's successful, and then we go on and do the next thing. So process philosophy talks about the chain of being. And this is really how we apply these principles in our lives. We sit in meditation, we hear the still small voice, we direct the law, we do affirmative prayer. Things change as a result. Ernest Holmes called this a faith, a philosophy, and a way of life, right? He said it is scientific, it is religion, it is philosophy, it is all three of those things. But when you think about science, you think about having to prove the principles. Well, in science, there's a whole big, long list of things you must do to prove that, right? It has to be repeatable in the lab and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know how you can repeat in the lab, your prayer that demonstrates, because it demonstrates, and that's it. And so something changes as a result. Well, I don't think you can repeat that. You can only repeat the process. You can only do the same thing, but apply it to a different situation, right? Isn't that what we do when we pray? We apply the same 5-step prayer process, we apply the same principle over and over again, and we get different results. Something changes in our lives. So maybe it's more of a social science, right? We experiment, and we're experimenting in our own lives. Arthur Young, he was another process philosopher. Arthur Young talked about this chain of being, this process, and he described it as involution. Sound familiar? Anybody? Okay. He describes it as involution, and what he says is this, and I love this. He says the energy, we would call it spirit, descends through levels of being into form, and then evolves up again, going back or returning to source. Now, if that's not our teaching principle, what is? He's describing exactly our teaching symbol. Involution, descent of spirit into form, evolution, returning back to source. That's the big V we have in our teaching symbol. Sounds familiar, right? Okay, we're all talking about the same stuff. The nature of being, the nature of reality. This is it, it's God. Except that. We are that. We are that. We are this energy, however we cannot describe it, because we can't, because that limits it. So however you can call it the mystery. The ancient people were very comfortable knowing it was mystery, and it was unknowable. But we're not. We want to read the end of the book. Well, I do. I want to read the end of the book all the time. I want to see how it comes out, right? But the ancient people were very comfortable knowing it was a mystery, knowing it was unknowable. And maybe we need to go back to that a little bit and get a little comfortable. And I don't know how it works, but I know it works. I rely on it. I depend on it. I do prayer. It changes things in my life for the better. I like that, right? I depend on that. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, God, the divine, or the universal life principle, whatever you choose to call it, is original, uncreated, changeless being. Not a being with parts, but being with potential. Being with potential. And that's what we are, right? And he says that's a vast difference. You bet you that's a vast difference. Because if it were a being with parts, you'd be a part, you'd be a part, you'd be a part. At some point, the parts are all used up. That's Cartesian philosophy, right? But there is no using up God. There is no running out of God. Could you imagine? I could pray today, but oh well, God's busy with the other 8 billion people on the planet, and he didn't get to me, or it didn't get to me, or she didn't get to me, whatever. That's limiting it also, isn't it? That's limiting the unlimitable. Not a word, but that's okay. This idea that spirit shows up in its fullness all the time, always, everywhere, wherever we are, it shows up in its fullness. Arthur Young called it the chain of being. He also called it this quantum, I don't remember, what was it? I thought I wrote it down. I guess I didn't. Anyway, shoot. Quantum event, that's what he called it. Quantum means the minimum amount of anything in a physical entity, right? We call a quantum is just the smallest bit of anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Physical property. The smallest amount of anything that's involved in an interaction. So that's what he called it. So then we start getting into quantum mechanics, don't we? We don't ever want to go there. Because I got to tell you, the understanding we have of quantum mechanics is just like the most superficial understanding of quantum mechanics. Nobody really. This is physicist and Nobel laureate Richard Feynman. Everybody knows Richard Feynman, right? He said, I think I can safely say nobody really understands quantum mechanics. Okay, so if he said that, clearly we don't stand a chance. But what we do know, I love the quote, and I believe he's correct, but what I do know about it is that it describes the nature and behavior of matter and energy at the subatomic level as potential. That in itself, that's all I need to know about it. It describes it as potential, which is exactly the way Ernest Holmes described it, which is exactly the way the process philosophers describe it, which is exactly how the panpsychists describe it, and the panentheists, which we are, right? Describe it. Goes back to Ernest Holmes' quote about the changeless being with potential, right? Not parts, but potentials. We can never run out of spirit. We can never run out of it. We can never use it up. It is us. It is within us. I told you we were going to take a deep dive. Sorry. We can't ever run out. Spirit is forever showing up in its fullness in our lives. It's like reading Emma Curtis Hopkins, isn't it? We have to do it over and over and over again until we can understand her. She's like that as well. We just keep reading it over and over and over. But if we lean into this idea of panentheism, spirit being equally present everywhere, universal intelligent, equally present everywhere, that means we exist right here and right now in an interactive universe. That universe is conscious, that it is alive, it is responding to us. Ernest Holmes was right. The ancient philosophers were correct. There is a reflective universe that we are immersed in. It knows us. We know it. There is communication going on back and forth at a cellular level, at an atomic level, at a subatomic level. We are in communion with the universe all the time. Ernest Holmes used to say, we are sending and receiving organisms in a reflective universe. We are part of everything that there is. Intelligence, fully present in everything, everywhere, communicating simultaneously across the universe with every other thing, every cell, every organism, receiving information and sending information everywhere. We're part of that. In fact, we are that. We're not even part of it. We are that. Spirit in its fullness is showing up as us. And the ancients knew it and they described it, right? The mystics knew it, they lived it, and they described it. New thought comes along, new thought, ancient wisdom. They describe it. Ernest Holmes said this, we are all living in a world of constant change. A world in which thought, thing, and experience are all in this state of flux. It is the very nature of the universe that there should be continual change and variation. It is a living world, the creation of a living creative intelligence, not a static world created by a God long ago, now dead, that has left it to decay. No, it is vital and it is alive. The mind that created it is not apart from it. It is always active in and through it. And that's what we are. We exist in an orderly universe. We exist within this intelligent organism called the cosmos. So we must come to our own personal cosmology about it, right? Our cosmology is who we are and our place in the greater thing, That is our personal cosmology, what you believe to be true about yourself and the universe, and your place in it. The great thing about our science of mind philosophy is that Ernest Holmes said, read about it, try it, test it, throw out what doesn't work for you. There is no dogma here. You're not asked to check your brain at the door when you come in. This is not a system of rules and regulations. This is about taking this stuff in and listening and understanding and doing what works, testing it, trying it, proving the principles to yourself, and what doesn't work, just get rid of. You don't have to read the whole book. You don't even have to agree with the whole book. Test the principles, prove that they work in your life, change your life using them. Ernest Holmes said this, I love it. Do not adopt the letter of my teaching, but the spirit. And you will find, as I did, that you will begin to formulate a system that is true for you. I learned it for me. You must learn it for yourself. That you must develop your own faith, your own confidence in your own interpretation of God, humanity, and the universe. That's what we're here to do. To understand spirit as it works for us, as us, in the world. Next week, we're going to have more fun. We will go further together. Thank you so much.
This song is a bit of a deep dive, too. Hold tight and follow along. Once upon a dream, I built a boat. I had to teach her how to float. Once she learned real well. She had a sail, she had a bell. I rang her bell, raised her sail, took her out in a full force gale. Then she sank, so I had to swim. Swam into this fish named Jim. Jim said, Joe, you're mighty brave, but I think you ought to catch that wave. So I caught a wave, I surfed ashore to a place I'd never been before, where the trees were purple, the grass was blue, the sky was bright, and the folks was too. They took me in, they made me king, a crown, a throne, and everything. They said, oh sire, what's your desire? I said, let me sit here by your fire, so I can warm my toes and contemplate just what it is that makes life great. When I was through, I said, okay, now what can I do to make your day? They said, oh king, we must concede, we've got everything we need. We've just learned to spread it round, so peace and love and joy abound. I said, what a concept. I must roam, so I can tell all the folks back home. I flew away, just got back the other day, where I told everyone I knew about the purple trees and the grass of blue, and the happy bright folk that I had found. They said, man, all this time we thought you'd drown, but now we know you're just insane, 'cause anyone with half a brain knows that peace and love and joy, they're just ideas. Fear and war, that's the way it is. It's always been, and it always will. I said, well, in your dream, it's that way still, but in mine, I'm building me a boat. And once I've taught her how to float, I'm gonna ring her bell and raise her sail and take her out in another gale. And maybe I'll get lucky twice and wind up back in paradise. Well, I know that sounds like fantasy. That's just where I long to be. Maybe it's just in my mind. But someday soon, I know I'll find it everywhere I journey to. And I know I'll wind up there with you. Yes, I know I really do. I know I'll wind up there with you. Take us home, boys. Once upon a dream, upon a dream, once upon a dream, once upon a dream, once upon a dream. Thank you very much. Let's hear it again for that band over there. You guys are lucky to have them.
Yes, we are lucky to have them. Thank you, Vision House Band. You're wonderful. And Jim Reeves sitting in for us. Thank you so much. So now this is our time for contributions for this conscious circulation. We are one. See that? We're just sharing. That's what we're doing. This is that idea that we give and we receive, and we stay in the flow. We stay in a balanced state so that we know that Spirit is forever supplying. So let us go to prayer for this conscious circulation right now and know that there is only one. There is one source. We know this now. We know this intellectually. We know this in a felt way. We know this in our heart and our soul, that there is one source. It is Spirit. It supplies its creations with all things. Enough air, enough joy, enough love, enough food, enough of every good thing. And we know and accept that when we awaken to this, we align with it, we demonstrate it, we allow it to flow through us, changing conditions around us. And I know the same is true for our sense of giving and receiving, our sense of absolutely being in the flow, knowing with gratitude that God is all there is, and it supplies and it constantly supports. So I know that these gifts given right here, right now, are blessed. I know that God supports and supplies. I know our source is God ultimately all the time, and I give great thanks knowing it is so, and so it is. Amen.
I'm thankful. I'm grateful, so thankful. I'm grateful.
So this is our time for Miracle Minute, and I have a couple. I love this. From Kathy B. She said, every day is her ideal. It's fun. She has new clients showing up. Life is amazing. Thank you, God. Well, that is a demonstration of answered prayer. I love it. And this one from Eileen H. She said, I wanted to let you know that she had to stop backpacking a year ago because of pain. She'd been going to a scoliosis physical therapist since February, and it was a long, long process, and it deepened her commitment and deepened her spiritual practice. She prayed, she meditated, she was doing physical therapy, went to the Revealing Wholeness class. Was that Reverend Jean, right? That's your class? Oh, cool. She's in an ongoing spiritual book study. She went to the practitioner. She hit bottom. That happens, right? Then there's no place else to go but up. Anyway, she listened to our talks here, and especially the talk where if the demonstration doesn't appear, keep doing the work. Thank you. I love that idea. Thank you, Eileen, for saying that. Yes, continue to do the work, even if it doesn't seem like it's appearing. We do our physical practice as well. We move our feet, and she's not here today. You know why? She's gone backpacking. Yes! She's on, yes, a 3-day trip. She said, thank you, God. Thanks, Science of Mind. Thanks, Vision. Keep doing the work, even if it doesn't show up, because we know it's on its way, right? We know that change happens. We know that prayer changes things. Oops, I'm going to break this. Sorry, John. And now it is time for the last word by Johnny Kirko.
So, thank you, Barbara. So, Vision Meet and Greet, join us online if you're online and say hello. We got practitioners available. Tomorrow morning at 8:30 through Monday through Friday, we have the Coffee Connection led by Reverend Lori Sheets. Join us for that. Tomorrow evening is Full Moon Sangha with Peter Boland. We'll be right here in this room at 6:30, as well as online. If you want to join us either place, come and join us and be a part of the Full Moon Sangha, which is a little meditation. We have a special concert coming up this month with Darlene Koldenhoven. It's going to be held on Saturday, October 23rd. If you want tickets for that, it's going to be a piano concert with Darlene. She's an amazing pianist, and she's releasing a CD right here with us. And it's her CD release party. So if you want to join that and be a part of that, tickets are available on the website. Next week, Reverend Patti Paris will be back. Her talk title is Go Faster, Go Further, or Farther, we're not sure. Further, farther. And we have Andy Anderson and Nathan Fry with us, so that'll be good stuff. How about Joe Rathburn today? Joe Rathburn, the host of the Folky Monkey we have twice a month on the second and fourth Thursday. Join us for those. You can see how good Joe is. If you haven't been a part of that, come and see it. We do it online as well. You can support us either way. Next week on Tuesday, right after Andy and Nathan are here, we're having a concert. We're having a Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Andy and Nathan, they will be right here in this space as well, and online. So we've got all kinds of good stuff. So there's a little sickness in this organization, and I got to express it right here and right now. For some reason, they want to see me in black tights. And I don't know what has gone wrong with this organization, but there is a fundraiser now called the Black Tight Fundraiser. And there is I don't even know how to express this right now. So, it's Halloween. It's for Halloween, and it's a matching fundraiser program to see John in tights. Well, already we have $5,000 available of the $10,000 to do this thing. So, how much to get you to not wear them? James wants to know how much to not wear them, and I'm contributing $150 to that already. Oh my God. Anyway, so it's a fundraiser for the month of October, and I love all of you guys very much, but you're sick as hell. And just because of that, if we reach the $10,000 mark, Andy Pfeiffer is also going to be wearing tights. So, oh my God. It's a church, right? We're a church?
Well, it started out being a black tie event. Now it's a black tight event.
It's a black tie event. Now it's a black tight event.
What are you wearing with the black tie?
I don't know what else I'm wearing, Barbara. That'll probably be part of the program too. As we raise more money, it'll be some funny looking thing. Anyway, so this fundraiser is available if you guys want to contribute to it. We love you very much. I don't know how the heck I got into this thing, but somehow it's here and we're doing this. Thank you guys already for that. I know you're going to hit the 10 grand because I don't even know what to say. You guys are sick. It is the beginning of October and it is birthday month. If your birthday's this month, please stand up or stand up in line. So we've got cake, Larry. What kind of cake?
I will not be wearing black tights. Chocolate.
It's chocolate cake, and I'm starting a fund on Larry to wear tights too. I'm starting that at $200. Anybody want to join in that? We could do that too, huh? Huh? It's funny until you have to wear the tights up here. It's really funny. Thanks, guys. Happy birthday, October.
I don't know, maybe think like, Rocky Horror, something like that. I don't know. Black tights, what do I know? Anyway, we are going to stand up and we're going to say our affirmations because it is the truth of us. We have them up on the big screen. Everybody at home, I want you to stand up too. Come on, get the energy flowing through you. We're going to say this in truth, in power, and right now. I claim my... What happened? We're going to say it? Okay. I didn't say, okay, let's do it. No? What? Wait a minute. Why are they different? I don't know. How did I get it different? Hang on a second. I have it. Never mind. It was the wrong, I had the wrong bulletin. You ready? You with me? Okay. My spiritual insight is clear. I'm working on that one. As my beliefs become deep convictions, things begin to change. I allow joyful and beautiful moments into my life. Number three, it just speaks to us, doesn't it? Let's do it again. I allow joyful and beautiful moments into my life. Absolutely. Oh, let's go within prayer one more time this morning. And no, I do allow beautiful and wonderful and exciting and dynamic moments into my life. I know and accept that this life of God's that we are immersed in flows through us and demonstrates as us in the world. We are part of this entire life of God. It shows up in its fullness as us. We are powerful beyond measure, and we must accept it. We must accept it, invite it in and through and as us, and move mountains. We move mountains. We know and accept that there is one life. It is God's. It is the power that flows through us, that sustains us, that grows us, that expands our life beyond our wildest dreams. I know this is truth. I know this is God. I know this is all good all the time, and so it is. Amen.